Game 3 is Friday in Atlanta, where the Hawks have won 13 in a row. So we talked about that 32-0 bench advantage in the first half. Philadelphia.
What's up, everybody? Fulan Speaks back from another video. I had to do a commentary on this, and I don't normally do this with the TNT guys. This is Charles Barkley, Shaq, and Kenny Smith, and while I oftentimes disagree with their assessments and takes and predictions, I respect them as players because not only were they great basketball players, but they played in an era that I feel was more of a fundamentally sound era of basketball, meaning people played more of a teams played more of a high efficiency style of game, and they played more man up defense as opposed to just the pick and rolls, and times where they actually allow a zone now and everybody jacking up 33s a game and all this old nonsense, right? So I was interested in hearing their takes. But they're going to give their takes, and I'm going to chime in. As you see, I named this. The national media believes the Atlanta Hawks are the new Golden State Warriors once again. Man, you'll see why.
Scores Atlanta 26-17 in the second half. Embiid with that 40-point game, and last guy to do that for the Sixers was AI in 2003. And
what's amazing about this was after a game 2 where the Sixers perpetually dominated the game. From my standpoint, the Hawks made this one rally, and for some reason, all these guys see is that rally and not the full picture of the game. But let me go.
All right, Shaq, what have you learned after 2 games of this series?
Well, I learned that the Hawks were happy that they got the split. Trey was a little careless with the ball. Well, they all were careless with the ball, but I still see that they have a lot of fight in them. And, if I'm a Sixer, I'm thanking Shake Milton because I don't like using the if, but what if he wasn't around and, Chuck's statement would be true, my Sixers are in trouble.
All right. This is the thing here. It's obvious that Shaq, for some reason, is pulling for the Hawks to win the series. So it's pretty obvious. Even though the Hawks play a style of basketball that he himself does not believe in. And we know this is a fact because Shaq just last week had called one of the radio stations in Philadelphia, all right, 97.5 The Fanatic, and he was interviewed by Eitan Shanter and a few other guys, okay? This was last week when we were playing the Wizards, and they asked Shaq his opinion on who could win, and what Shaquille O'Neal said was, he said, if Joel Embiid dominates, listen, this was what Shaq said, and I quote, if Joel Embiid dominates, there's nobody that will stop the Sixers. This is what he said to a Philadelphia reporter on a Philadelphia station. However, now, though Embiid is scoring 40 and 13 and all of that, he wants to talk about Shake Milton's 14 points that came at one time. All right, that's number one when it comes to him. He's inconsistent. First, honestly, I think these guys probably drink, alcohol. I don't know about Shaq necessarily, but Barkley, clearly he drinks alcohol. Anyway.
Guy just came out of nowhere. I know they didn't have a scouting report for him, but they, let him get away. But
drink alcohol like right before work. I don't mean just, alcohol drinkers, okay? I know nothing against alcohol drinkers. I mean like drinking before the job, okay?
The Hawks were happy with the split. I would have liked to see more killer instinct. Now, game 3, definitely.
This is what I'm saying, right? The narrative is Trae Young was just careless with the ball, right? Then we're not going to bring up the Sixers defense. Sixers were the number 2 rated defense in the league, okay? That means something. That translates in playoff series. But here is just going to be Trae Young because you want to bump him up to be the next Steph Curry. And this is a league where, people just love the perimeter players. So this is what they're going to do. Praise the perimeter player who takes bad shots from half court and all this kind of stuff. As opposed to the guy that goes in like Embiid and is going to give you that consistent 40 because there is no defense for it. Right, but Shaq knows that that's his style of basketball for real. He knows that's what wins. But we're going to sit here and praise guys who shoot half-court threes. Okay.
Got to win game 3. The Hawks realize they can do anything they want, and they realize if they get down, they can get back in the game. But you have to have that killer instinct.
Do they realize that? Okay.
And at home, you got to play the right way at home.
Let's go right down the road. What do you see for game 3?
Well, I think, I'm still not sure, not we. I'm still.
Kenny Smith, I don't necessarily agree with his take here. He's the only one that actually has an intellect out of the three. That's one thing I've noticed throughout the years of watching this show.
Not sure if the Sixers have the advantage or the Hawks have the advantage, because when they go on spurts where the other team cannot stop them, both teams. There hasn't been a game yet in the game 1 or 2 where there's a consistent.
This is also very stupid. Okay, all right. When we saw the beginning of the game, as we went into game 2, okay, the major difference was Ben Simmons was placed on Trae Young immediately from the beginning of the game. That's really the only adjustment. Game 1, the Hawks got off real early. Okay. I do believe that the Sixers were very careless with the ball, and I think they took the Hawks lightly in the beginning of Game 1. That's my personal opinion. However, if I'm going to bring to the table a real analysis, I'm going to give Trae Young credit for taking advantage of the Sixers. I'm not going to say that, the Sixers were just careless with the ball and the Hawks. No, I will give the Hawks defense some credit. They did, they did. They came out as the more intense team, more crisp team. Game 1. All right, game 2, the Sixers came out more crisp. But the difference was Ben Simmons was on Trae Young. Trae Young had a horrible start to the game. So, but instead of giving Ben Simmons credit for that, what they want to do is, say that they go through spurts where the other team can't stop them. Well, sir, you need to look a little closer into that. Who's the actual personnel that can't stop who? From what I saw, the Sixers dominated this game, actually got off to, the Hawks had like 6 points, and the Sixers had like 16, 18 points in the beginning of the game. And that was because of the defense. Eventually, though, we had to go to the bench. The Sixers bench hadn't shown up so far in the series until the second half. Right? This is real analysis. Once the Sixers bench comes in, then the Hawks made their run. Because they bring in Herter. And Doc, for some reason, allows Seth Curry to stick Herter. And Herter gets off on him. That's why Herter had 20 points in the game. He also allowed that in the second half. This is the thing I'm having an issue with Doc. When he put Shake Milton into the game, 2 things happened. Number 1, Shake Milton, who had a chip on his shoulder, came out red hot shooting the ball. That's no surprise to any Philadelphia fan because we know Shake Milton can shoot the 3. Shake Milton is the same guy that put 39 points up on the Clippers at Staples Center not too long ago. So we know what he's capable of doing. Shake Milton, throughout the year, has been the Sixers' 6th man, averaging under 14 points a game. What he did was he scored 14 points last night, which is his norm. Right, so this idea that Shake Milton, is reason if he didn't do that, it's just like it's ridiculous. He scored 14 points. Relax, fellas, please.
Flow where both teams are playing well. So you go, well, which team has the advantage because they go on these 17-2 runs and 19.
Is playing well. How about defense? Like this, I can't believe these guys, man. This dude played on the defensive team with the Houston Rockets. I just can't believe the way they see basketball. Like they're almost like just their root understanding of the game has been so affected by the modern NBA that like these guys can't really see what's happening. They can't recognize dominance when they see it. Physical dominance.
2 runs, 18-5, both teams. So no team has really played well at the same time. So that means this series to me is still not decided. I would say that Philadelphia scores easier.
Thank you very much. That is the first actual real good point. Philly scores easier.
And they're shooting the ball well. I mean, they've shot better than 50%
because they can just
in
throw
both
the ball
games.
into Joel Embiid, and he can power in, and he can get a basket.
Yeah, but if you don't get Shake Milton going crazy, they're down 0-2. What you talking about?
Listen,
Shake Milton scored 14 points. Where did he go crazy? Where did Shake Milton score 30? They're acting like this was Klay Thompson, when he scored 30 points in a quarter. 14 points. That's what Shake averages.
For Kenny, listen, the Hawks got more weapons.
more weapons, but who scores easier?
The Hawks have more weapons. Where? Like, now listen to this stupid ass argument that Charles Barkley's about to put forth. Listen to this. This is hilarious.
When you need if you need a basket, who can get it better?
Well, they can double Joel.
Okay.
But the Hawks got.
The answer is Embiid. He just doesn't want to answer because he knows his argument falls apart. But by Kenny Smith asking the right question, who scores easier? Like, for example, Clint Capella got that little dunk where he was all hype because Trae Young has to set him up to get the dunk. Joel Embiid, we just hand him the ball on the other side of the court. He pushed his little bitty ass out the way and just dunk right on him. Right? That's the difference.
5 or 6 guys who can score. And like tonight, if Shake, okay, so I'm looking at
Everybody in the NBA can score. That's number one, okay?
stats. Seth Curry had 21. Shake had 14. That was the difference in the game. Because
Steph has been playing that way.
Yeah, but
Steph has been averaging 17 for the playoffs. So why is 21? So oh my God,
not averaging 21. So Joel did the exact same thing he did in game 1 when they lost. But Steph's 21.
Lost by 4 points. By 4, Chuck. This was a 16-point win by the Sixers.
And Shake's 14. That was the difference in the game. Ben Simmons only had 4 points. The question, if I'm the Sixers, is Steph going to get 21, 3 more games? And
got
Shake,
30 in a game.
This is the amazing thing about that, right? There's 2 ways. If you're for like the team for the Sixers, one way you could look at it is the Sixers won by 16 and Ben Simmons only had 4 damn points, right? Is he going to always have that? Or is he going to score more around his average, which is a pathetic 13 or 14 or whatever, right? Or you can look at it like this, which is so stupid. You know, Ben Simmons only scored 4 points, like as if that's going to keep happening. The stupidity of this argument is
he was averaging 17 in the postseason.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but tonight he had 21, and Shake Milton was
four extra points, Chuck.
Shake Milton was the key to the game.
Yeah,
Is he gonna get 4?
Why else would I write a lead about Shake Milton if he wasn't the key?
No, I understand it. That's not the point I'm trying to make.
I'm just gabbing you.
Okay, but I'm saying he got to do that 3 more times.
No, I don't think Shake has to do that 3 more times.
Yes, he does.
Ben Simmons is not going to have 4 points every night. Come on now, he's not going to have 4. And then Tobias Harris is still dominated in the first half.
Tobias had a good game.
But they're right where they need to be.
They're not where they need to be because let me tell you something.
They needed sorry to cut you off. They needed the other to have a spectacular game.
But that's what you paid for.
Yeah.
Well,
Shaq, that used to happen with the Lakers sometimes, okay? Sometimes Rick Fox will have an unpredictable game, okay? Sometimes, especially Derek Fisher, will hit those timely threes. Let's not even talk about Bob Horry, okay?
I'm just saying, I know with the Hawks.
Herder had how many today?
No.
Herder had 20, Gallinari 21.
You think Herder's going to get 20 every night, too?
Herder been playing well.
Let me talk about this Herder thing. Let me see. When you look at this whole game, right, this whole idea that the Hawks just have all these weapons that can just score this and that, and the Sixers don't have guys that can keep up with them. Okay, first of all, we have the best scorer that's out there. That's Joel Embiid, okay? 30-point a night. The second best scorer in the whole series, of course, is Trae Young. When he does not have Ben Simmons on him, he has to prove to me he can consistently score on Ben Simmons. He hasn't proven that, okay? All right, but I'm saying the Sixers have a better answer for Trae than the Hawks. The Hawks have no answer for Embiid. Sixers have somewhat of an answer for Trae. We can slow him down. We can make him work very hard for his points. Joel Embiid, there ain't nothing going on. Clint Capella can't handle Dwight Howard, honestly. If you really watch the game, Clint Capella, the ceiling he can reach, his ceiling, if he reaches his pinnacle, it'll be Dwight Howard from back in 2013. That would be 2013. Dwight Howard is the ceiling for Clint Capella. Dwight Howard right now, 35 years old. If you're talking about just for a good 10, 15 minutes, he could bang with Clint Capella. The boy's in shape, all of that. Anyone who's watching the game can see all of this happening. All right, so the Sixers' dominant scorer, they have no answer for. Whereas the Hawks' dominant scorer, they can slow him down and make him work. Now, who's the second guy? The second best scorer out of this whole series is Tobias Harris after Joel Embiid. Then you start going to Hawk players. Whether you want to say it's Bogdanovich, whether you want to say it's Gallinari, when Hunter comes back, I don't know. Or maybe you could say it's Collins because he averaged 17. Collins will not do that in this series. Possibly he'll show up at home, maybe give you a 20-point game or something like that. But Collins is not going to consistently get his average against this defense.
He's been playing great. He's going to play.
He's not getting 20 every night.
Hey, listen.
As good as he.
And I'm sorry, the Herder thing. The reason the Hawks make these comebacks, as I've been saying since game 1, and it seems like I don't know if I'm the only one seeing this or what, but Doc Rivers puts Seth Curry on Herter. When that happens, Herter can get whatever points he wants. He cannot get at whatever points he wants against our other defenders. He can't do that against Danny Green. He cannot do that definitely against Matisse Thybulle or Ben Simmons or even Shake Milton, as we saw. Because Shake Milton, though he's not a great wing defender, he's Herter's size. And that all sometimes makes the difference, especially with a guy like Herter, who's good, but he's not elite.
He's a young player on the rise, but he's not getting 20 every night. And
I don't think he's going to get 20 I think he's going to get 14, 16. I do.
All right, so you said Seth Curry is not going to get 21, though he averages 17. You're talking about Herter's not going to get 20, but he averages 14, right? So you think a guy that averages 14 is going to be enough, whereas Seth, who averages 17, ain't enough. Come on, man. Make some sense.
And I think Collins going to play better at home.
He's 14 out of 19 from the floor.
And listen, I'm not even going to listen. Bogdanovich is a problem.
He's a problem.
And I will tell you this. Trey
was a bigger problem, Bogdanovich or Tobias Harris? You answer that.
So loose with the ball today. It counted to, he was like, he didn't, Shaq is 100%.
So are we going to say on the right record that you guys think that Atlanta's going to win then?
I do think Atlanta's going to win this series.
Oh, man. These guys, man. Atlanta's going to win the series.
Yes.
Oh, that's what, okay. I was trying to figure out why we were doing that.
Because he's smart. He realizes, okay, why are y'all talking like this? Just leaning everything towards Atlanta. You know, what's that about? Silly.
I didn't understand.
No, and listen, it breaks my heart.
I didn't plan the pushback. I didn't see the pushback.
Because I have to say to myself, because I want the Sixers to win.
Right.
But I got to say to myself,
man, don't. Because of some damn Bogdanovich, they ain't going to win because of some damn Bogdanovich? Really?
Yeah. I don't know if Shea can do that 3 more times.
What? Oh, okay. Let me deal with this stupid shit right here. Okay. Excuse my language, y'all. All right. When Shake comes out and scores, right? This is the game of basketball. Shake gets his first. He makes that 3. Boom. All right. Do they or do they not give the ball to the Hawks after the Sixers score? I mean, I just wonder. Like when Shake scores a 3, what happens next? Do the Hawks get the ball? Okay, so the Hawks get the ball now. They got a chance to score. So what happens is now the Hawks can't score. That's how runs work. Either the Sixers get a turnover or whatever. Shake comes down and shoots another 3. Okay, from what I understand, the Hawks get the ball after that. So it ain't like the Sixers are just constantly getting free possessions, right? The Hawks get a chance to score every time the Sixers score. What really happened in that game is the Sixers dominated the freaking game. The Hawks made a couple runs just like any decent playoff team should do. But every time they made a run, the Sixers answered. You see how narratives can work? It could be, okay, the Hawks showed they can actually still play with the Sixers. Or it could be, all right, every time the Hawks had an answer, the Hawks tried to make a run, the Sixers answered. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I wouldn't be counting on Shake to do that. Shake, you did your job.
Wait, because I've told you going into the series, I says,
all right, Shake didn't score, but you think Furkan's never going to score? You think Maxi's never going to score? Like our bench was historically bad, scoring like 0. And this is when the Hawks make their runs, when the bench is in there. Our starting 5 will not lose to them, even if Deontay Hunter and Cam Reddish comes back. They're good players, but they're too young. They're not really ready for the spot right now, though I respect them.
This ain't got nothing to do with Joel Embiid. It's all about the Sixers perimeter players. Are they going to play enough good games, 3 more games? And I'm looking at the Hawks. Gallinari, he did his thing tonight. Horder's doing it.
First of all, Gallinari's not even the damn. I mean, I guess he's a perimeter player, okay, but Tobias Harris is better than Gallinari. Why are you talking about Gallinari without Tobias Harris? And then you want to bring up Bogdanovich. Okay, Bogdanovich against who? Who do we put on him? Or Danny Green? Okay. You could say Bogdanovich is a better player than Danny Green. That's fine. All right. I'll take Danny Green, though. His experience. And trust me, Danny Green is not going to keep missing those 3s. You ain't got to worry about that. He's a 40% guy from the field, from the 3. He's not going to keep missing that. He's not going to keep missing those. And he's going to give you the smartness and the toughness. All right. And then Seth Curry is our other wing player. Who are you talking about? Until they bring Herter in, they don't really have the guy that Seth is worried about.
Thing, Bogdanovich and Trey, I got more faith than those guys.
Okay, gotcha.
In my personal opinion.
Okay.
But when you look
I got faith in Shake.
So you look at Simmons and you look at Shake Milton tonight, 18 points combined. Okay?
Yeah.
So 18 points combined. So you looked at, okay,
18,
game 3.
that's not-
That's the scary part. Ben Simmons only had 4 points, and we know he's capable of scoring 20 or more. That's the amazing thing. He hasn't had his game yet.
Maybe Shake doesn't need to get 14.
Oh,
maybe
no.
Ben needs to get 15, and Shake can get 10, and then you're even better than you got tonight.
Yeah, first of all, and that's my point, Ernie. They're gonna have to do that because the Hawks they're gonna dominate the perimeter. Joel is gonna dominate in the paint.
Do you think Ben Simmons is capable of
dominating in the paint is 60% or more efficient basketball versus dominating in the perimeter is 45% basketball or less, right? So right there, like, Barkley is just, I can't believe I'm not going to believe he has bad basketball IQ. I think that's impossible, but he's not thinking right now. Maybe he's just drunk.
playing better?
Yes.
Okay. So then,
but also then you have to factor in his free throw shooting too.
okay.
Another 0 for
Well,
2
we got
tonight.
two Atlantas. I'm on the fence.
We don't get paid to be on the fence around here.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we do.
13 of 40 from the free throw.
As you see, the national media, this is part two, is more proof of that. They believe this team has got some elite scoring right here that the Sixers just won't be able to stop. You know, the mighty Gallinari, the mighty Bogdanovich, the mighty Kevin Herter, and all of these types of guys. Unbelievable, man. But I think I had to do that, and I think we're good now. So, Fulan Speaks him out.